Our main character is Yuri. He is a sophomore and having a school life. Very normal. Daily Yuri often have to get up early to deliver newspapers to earn money to cover living expenses. You have to be more productive at work today because need money for picnic coming next month, because he and his friends decided we'll go out together. So even if it costs a lot of money, he still wants to go. At school, we get to meet our closest friends with love. First is this blonde guy. He is shy and a rich kid. He is willing to lend Yuchi money if necessary. But this is my friend. I want him to stop being so arrogant. The other two are Yutori and Tenji. Now also come to class and want Saiho ignore for their stupid friend. What name is considered a person with a genius mind? And never being defamed by AI. And Yuri is a quiet person and has been bullied before. All 5 of them are close friends and Yuri. I just wish they could stay like this forever. But suddenly bad news. It was when Mr. Cho said to million yen for the trip. Foreign coming soon of the class was stolen. Whoever wants to take it can take it. Don't ruin class unity like that. But no thief would confess like that. And because of this the next day, Saiho and Sipe don't go to school. Because both are responsible for keeping the money. And also because both of them did not go to class. So others started to assume both of them took the money. Evening to IU. Kai suddenly received a letter from her father. Say see you at school. So he rushed too. But his 4 friends also came for the same reason. Yukai calls them out here. He looked through everyone's mail, then realized they had been set up. Yuri immediately got electrocuted from behind and was in a daze. Saw his friends being taken away. In his dream he remembered the teachings of his teacher and mother. The teacher said that the most important thing in life is money. But his mother thought that the most important thing is friends. He then woke up and found himself and his group of friends locked up in a white room. Suddenly a doll entered which Theo Yuri. If you know, then its name is Manabu and is a character in an old cartoon. It wants everyone to play a game with it. If they complete it, they will receive 2 million yen. Each game completed, they will be paid 2 million and complete the game. Then they will have 20 million to pay off the debt. Yuchi thinks Manabu is talking nonsense. But Manabu noticed that he seemed clueless. So it must be someone in Yuchi's group of friends. Owed that 20 million. Tenji stood up to mediate. And assuming Manabu has no evidence and is committing kidnapping. As it says one of them delivered it before. Deposit is 2 million to join the game. Also means, the person who brought them here is the one who stole the commune's money. Of course they also have the right not to participate. But 2 million deposit will be lost, and the person who owes 20 million will have to pay it himself. If you participate, the debt will be divided equally. Win and pay off debt. If they lose, they will have to bear the debt. Manabe, give them time to think in your group. Then suppose they should not find the traitor now. That should participate, to help that person pay off his debt because friends should be like that. But Yuri had to struggle mentally to see what is most important. Money or friends, and in the end he definitely chose friends. They then decided to join the game and enter the first game. There is 1 giant coin on the table and 5 name tags with the amount owed by each person inside. AI also has an equal debt of 4 million. No AI allowed show others your debt, because that would double the debt. The rules of the game are as follows. All 5 people will place their hands on the coin and move together to the answer of the question. If 5 people agree, then 1 coin will automatically move through the answers they choose. However, if 1 out of 5 people thinks differently, the answer will move to the other side. Because this game will favor the minority. Or in other words, check for consensus. The rule of the game is not to speak unless they read the question. If you break the law, the debt will be doubled. The last person will have to take all the debt. Remember, The important thing to remember is to work together to overcome. Shiba's Cho read the first question. The first sentence is about Mount Fuji. Is it the tallest in Japan? Everyone knows the answer is correct. But somehow the coin got moved. The wrong answer caused the whole group to lose the opportunity to pay off the debt. Saiho was about to speak up. Then everyone stopped her for fear that she would break the law. The second question is also an easy one and the answer is, again put in the box of the wrong answer. Proves there is definitely a traitor in the group. Yuji thought it was Shibe because a few days ago, when he tried to flirt with Saiho, she punched him. So it is possible that Shibe is trying to retaliate. He wants his friends to help him make up. Also ignored. However, Saiho is no longer angry with Shibe because of Yuri. Helped him. Back to game. The third question was read again and again someone broke it. Even though the question is very easy. To the fourth sentence. It was Yuri's turn to read the question. And you know there are absolutely no questions asked. That players have to think of questions for themselves. But there is a note below that says, if the coin comes back they win. If you enter without paying, the reader gets half the price. You understand why the first 3 questions are easy. But they still deliberately choose, not because want to reduce the money by half. For themselves and for the most indebted. Finally take it all. You are useful. I thought to myself and suddenly realized that Ryutori be the last. She is very weak and sure. Will not be able to bear it all. So because of thinking for her, Yuri decided to choose the correct answer. To help keep the game going. But still some people choose not to. He realized that someone was trying to put all the debt on Yutori's head. For the last question, there is no debt reduction condition like the previous 4. Yuri's turn. She asked everyone if all will you still be friends? The board of supervisors found this question should have come first. Because if it comes first, then the answer will definitely be yes. But now the situation has made many members suspicious of each other, so the answer will most likely be no. Yuri is afraid that the weakest member of the group will suffer a shock. Should decide to break the law, to increase one's debt. Equal to Yutori. You opened your mouth to speak without permission. He said he saw through them. And no, they are trying to push the debt onto Yutori. Lie about your own laws. Whoever has the least debt loses. Even though I know Yuri might be lying. But no one is sure about that because they are somewhat reluctant to take risks when they are trying their best to reduce debt. But became the one punished. Because Yuri took the initiative to open his mouth to speak now. You are the one with the biggest debt. So if Yuri, honestly, you are the safest person right now. No one dares to speak up. Because if you speak up, it also means admitting yourself is the traitor. But then he said that his words. Just kidding and trust them to answer correctly. In this sentence, a sharp psychological blow from Yuri made everyone must choose correctly. The whole group passed the level. And AI also only talks about its own debt. Just reduced for 100,000 by completing the game. Yuri also thinks that herself still at old debt level, as you did as per notes, to get half price, and then break the law to double it back. Manabu wants them to go to the second game then Yuri stayed a while to see each person's question. But the notes on the question are gone. Saiho went back to find Yuri to talk about the traitor case. He suspects Saiho is a traitor. Because she is a disciplined person. Should be sure, will want to investigate the debtor. Not to participate in this game. But she doubted Yuri. Because he is poor. And she didn't point fingers at him. That choose to join the game. Not because she pitied him, but because she loved Yuri so much. She also lied about her debt. Actually, her debt was doubled because she answered wrong. The first sentence she accidentally said out loud, so she was still punished. She thought Yuri chose to speak up to save her. Because she was the one with the biggest debt at that time. However, their conversation was overheard by Tenji. The organizers found Yuri to be a sharp person. When it comes to money, you also have very wise judgment. But that is not enough to win this game. because someone is trying to destroy that friendship. They then went to game 2. They will be followed by the audience. Past, and this game requires players to badmouth their friends. The rules on here include each round. They will have to badmouth their friends. It sounds quite confusing, so Manabu explains it like this. They will have to go into this room and write something bad about your friend on it and put it in the box. Manabu will read the bad words and the audience will vote to see who will have to move the most squares. Finishing first means taking on all the debt. Then go on, and the remaining 4 people will leave. But if the ballot is blank, then each person will move 1 square. Then, just like that, we reach the finish line together and continue to round 3. But the traitor will definitely write, so blank vote will be disadvantageous. The 2 supervisors burst out laughing because they were being watched from the start. And these 2 people don't believe they can get through together, because people are very calculating. So let's see how many squares they can get together. The first 2 rounds were blank and the whole group stepped onto boxes. But each cell has a condition attached to it and caused them to be added more debt. Manabu has added new rules. Is the total debt added to each cell will all be poured into the finish line first, and from round 3 everything changed. A person who spoke ill of a friendship with the content is, Saiho really likes Yuri even though it was a while ago. She is dating Tenji. According to the supervisor, best way to ruin friendship. It is a matter of love. Saiho was forced to take 5 steps while the others still 1 fall. He thought Yuri was playing with him because Yuri knew it. Saiho likes himself but doesn't let anyone know, because Tenji wants him not to be jealous because of Tenji. Also Saiho's ex-boyfriend. But the relationship between her and Tenji, before it was because her dad and Tenji's dad were friends, should have arranged the marriage. She has no feelings for Tenji, so it can also be considered a lie. But Tenji really has feelings for her. So Tenji can't stand Shibe say disrespectful words to Saiho. Saipe and Tenji turned against each other and argued, for both are all suspected of speaking ill of Saiho. Name J, with big brain, blame chose Shibe that he was the one who heard the rumors about this be a love affair. So badmouth to confirm the truth. Trouble, thinking that I can't be a writer because of that, is like making yourself a suspect. Yuri stood up to stop both of them before the fight and advised them, if you love her, don't make her sad. Yuri is very jealous of 3 sons. Ai also likes to flirt more than her. To next turn. Everything changed when there were 3 bad votes. The most important of which is, Saiho had plastic surgery. She was obviously pushed up higher. Yuchi and Shibe only took 1 and 2 steps forward. The gossip has just officially begun, and the group of friends is slowly falling apart. Next round, just 1 bad word. But it was shocking that Yuri been a sugar baby before. The upcoming content will be shocking, so I advise you guys, prepare yourself mentally before watching. Yuri was completely panicked when the unforgettable passed. Once again reminded, she blamed Cho Saiho for her. Saiho is the one who knows about the secret. Shibe still stupidly reminded Ra of the pain of selling his body, made Tenji lose his temper and punch him in the face. Kenji asked Yuri to comfort Yutori right now because only you can do it. After so many laps then before the eyes is their rank. At this time, Kenji is still the last one. Manabu repeated the rule again. But it seems that for now, the debt is not important. With these secrets, Yutori shared that she was previously abused and bullied very badly. Teachers and her friends all turned their backs on her and refused to help her. She had to pay tribute before they would leave her alone. She often needs money, so decided to be a sugar baby for a rich uncle. At first it was just dinner and hanging out, until her uncle forced her to cosplay and take pictures. But when I wanted to touch her, she ran away and think that I have never gone too far. The online community does not believe, but But she still wants Yukai to believe her because now you. If you leave her, she will be alone. Supervisor assumes that all people are the same. They think that as long as they are clean, then have the right to insult people who are considered dirtier than themselves. And in this case too, everyone will think Yuri is dirty, is blameworthy. But Yuri was still willing to accept her past and not abandoning her friends. He whispered something to Yuri and wanted her to trust him. The supervisor found him to be so forgiving. Then it must be your past. Even more horrible than Yutori's. Yutori. Ra started to have doubts about Saiho, so he wanted to stay away from her. Saiho did know, but only because she saved Yutori before and was told by Yutori. Saiho don't listen too much and never promised to friends. The supervisor noticed. The traitor succeeded in dividing the people. Because that guy probably doesn't care about money, but only focus on dividing people. That person must be feeling proud right now because of that person stole 2 million from the picnic fund. From the past tense scene, we know the culprit is one of your friends. And when he just stole from Saiho, he bumped into Yutori and got cut by her pen, giving a line under the eye. And that person is also the only one who knows Saiho had plastic surgery just to cover the scar on his cheek. And it was that person who revealed the secret of Yutori. Because this person is the one who gave Cho Saiho Keiken containing wiretap. That person is not AI else, is the one with the scar on the eye. Tenji do this just to destroy Saiho's entire relationship, so that he can monopolize her as his own. Tenji believes that she is not the one who revealed the secret. Of course Tenji believed because he was the real culprit. Among the 5 secrets, the 3 most shocking things are Tenji's. Right out, Kenji broke Yutori's trust in Cho Saiho. So now he just needs to do the opposite. He then said that Saiho knew that she might have been framed by Yutori himself. Because Yutori might have revealed his secret himself. To turn Saiho into a bad guy and then monopolize Yutori. Because Yutori knows himself will not be able to take Yuri from Saiho easily. Tenji, suppose Yuchi be a kind person, so you are easily seduced by that pity. Manabu wants them to continue the game, so Yuchi let Tenji in first. He found himself at the top and will be suspected. If not, AI will speak ill of him. So Tenji said bad things about himself to keep people's trust. But when he came back, Tenji saw Yuchi had just turned off his cigarette. Because she thought Yutori is the one who badmits himself to seduce Yuchi. Tenji found the plan even easier when the 2 girls have cut off trust with each other. Saiho assuming girls are not afraid to play dirty just to get what you want. Yutori also brought up her raw surgery to argue back. Saiho also solved, love my surgery. And this made Shibe back to the race for Saiho. The 2 girls completely lost faith in each other and Yuri. Forced to stay by Yutori's side. So Saiho no longer trusts Yuri. Tenji finds everything to perfect. When not only can the relationship between Saiho with Yutori, but also cut off the trust for Yutori. And Tenji took this opportunity to go to Saiho. She rejected Yuchi and chose to stand by him. Manabu wants them to continue the game and the other 4 also entered the room. The result is only 2 bad words. The first one doesn't matter. And the second is that Tenji lied about his real age. He said he was 1 year older than them. But because of the incident, had to skip a year of school, so now I'm studying Chung. And only Saiho knows the secret. She was suspected again, but Tenji did that to isolate Saiho to make her no more AI around but have to listen to him. Saiho has to go more steps. But this time the box lets her choose someone to expose secrets. And the audience will vote on whether to forgive or not. If AI doesn't forgive her, she will have to walk 10 steps. Tenji is worried because if Saiho chooses him then he will be organized. Tell them that you are the one who dragged them into this. And because he is close to the most she can, will choose to check if Tenji. Do you really want to help her? But in times of danger, Saip stand up and accept. Instead he wants to regain trust with Saiho. Game has told them that Saip's father is a corrupt politician. He committed all kinds of political crimes from adultery to adultery, embezzlement and covering up some bad deeds by spending money. The supervisor believes this will also cause division because there are no parents want their children to associate with the children of a criminal. Kenji saw an opportunity and wanted to take advantage of it. Saiho does not calculate because this is just Shibe's fault, so he is not responsible. Kenji walked up and said, Shibe is not necessarily clean. Because as the game said, Shibe's father used money to cover up many things. Should be able to. Shibe has also committed many crimes and was covered by his father. He was completely lost, isolated group and voted by the audience up to 99%. Should take 9 steps and stand right behind the fox. Now next round and Tenji want to finish right here. And after the next round. The only bad thing is that Shibe killed someone. Tank, surprised because he didn't write anything in this round. He thought he had messed up enough so he wanted to leave it as it was, to avoid suspicion. And after observing, the person who wrote it is the lead demon. Supervisor. See, now the fun starts when Yuji started everything again. If you look closely, Yuji made things come to this. Fall tried to explain that he did not kill anyone and that must be a lie. Any name is for sure because of people like Shibe will not have the guts to kill people. So Yuji is definitely a liar. Shibe wants Manabu to punish liars like the law. But this condition only be met if he can prove his innocence. Just talk, AI cannot talk. Shibe wants to check criminal record. But even if he has a criminal record, his father, it has been processed so it may not still exist. Manabu had to let the judges decide. And even though he tried to beg, he was stupid. Say it out loud, if I do it myself my dad will solve it all. A self-inflicted gunshot wound to the foot. Shibe moves 5 more squares. Yuri said he still believes in Shibe. And start solving the case yourself. He said the traitor wrote all the bad words. From the beginning of the game until now, he tried to say that there was a liar in the group, but cannot say the identity of that person makes Tenji think you are bluffing. But Yuri said this game is not difficult at all, because this game also has viewers. So there is no way any advance will result in debt to that advance. Because if it is really that disadvantageous, the organizers will always be the winner. If so, even if all players leave, they will still be in debt, more than original, and thus will no longer attract audiences. And this is the billionaire chessboard. If there is a debt increase box, there will also be a debt reduction box. The proof is in the previous round. They had their debt reduced. So if we all go together, the debt will be gone, and the money will be equal. But now I realize it's too late. But you think of a way to bring everyone back into balance. That's it for now except Shibe is leading. Then people will talk bad about themselves to be able to advance by Shibe. If that AI breaks the rules and badmouths Shibe, will be discovered due to no self-deprecating vote. This way they will be able to stop hurting each other. But Tenji, object and want you to tell the identity of the traitor. If you knew. Because that way they can make the traitor. Must go to game 3 alone. Tenji thinks you are too weak. And started putting pressure on Yujiri. But he was ready to face it. And then when the results were announced, there were 10 negative votes. Because the law does not limit the number of votes, so his plan failed. Has been to this country, so Tenji if you have to tell the identity of the traitor. Yuri helplessly admitted that. I made up stories about traitors. Trust was broken with Yuri just as Tenji predicted. Now he just has to continue his plan to get revenge. Siho for taking away the most precious thing to him. The game continues until Siho is on the last square. Now no matter what, Siho will also take a step towards the final game. But the game, it was not over when the supervisor realized Ra. Yuri was dangerous. Manipulated the game without knowing. Yuri, want everyone to work together to find the traitor. Because according to the law, AI that lies will be punished. So now all 5 of us just need to write ourselves down. Is the subscriber. Join the game. Then all will be punished. And share the joys and sorrows to the next game. And the traitor will stay. And Yuri wanted Tenji to go first. Because he is the person Siho trusts the most. He knew he was about to be exposed. So the decision will still be recorded as Yukai wanted and cried and made excuses later. But when the results were announced, only Tenji was there. Is the writer left blank? He is going to play the crying game. But Yuri wanted him to tell everything. Excuse later. Yukai looks so scary right now. And different from the person they used to know. Yukai, now tell me everything you have arranged. Since the second game started. It's a Tenji. Start gossiping. Yuri and Siho secretly cooperated with each other. By using the paper in that room to communicate. In that third leg. Yuji said it was to oppose the vote but the camera turned. Back to the scene where he holds the pen and takes to votes. When going out, put your hand on the shoulder of the sick person. Prove to have given her something. He wanted her to take the secret, but only to people know to write Ra and gain her trust. He eliminated to find the traitor. In Yutori's circle. He also silently gave her the paper. And let me know your thoughts with fans. So just pretend to argue to lure the traitor. So next round. Siho is the only secret Yutori knows. And that eliminates two people. Shibe is easy. Because he is a volunteer who participates in exposing the truth. So only name left. But to avoid the Tenji. Go crazy and ruin everyone's party. Then you decide. Will use Kia's flawed plan to lure Tenji. Wait until the game is almost over before exposing. But the fact that they can vote multiple times to destroy each other is. Yuri avoided that too. By keeping everyone's name tags. Everyone wants to prove themselves. Not a traitor. Should be given immediately. With name tag as hostage. Each to his own, will also obediently listen to Yuji's plan. Supervisor, I love Kai so much she is a devil. When you can manipulate human psychology. As religion does. Tank, want to know why Yuji can eliminate everything. Don't pick him then let it be known as Tenji. Behave unusually. When word is mediator. But go quarrel. With Shibe and thought he was the one who spoke ill of him. But the group has long since told anyone any secrets chose Shibe. Because he is inherently a gossip. What name is lost when he picked a fool like Shibe to blame? But now there is nothing I can do to remove Cho Siho. So Yuji decided to give Manabu. Know that you lied. To be able to take the punishment instead of Siho, and join the third game. They confirm Yuji thing. Say yes and let him go alone. Yuri let them know that. Myself a liar about Sipe. Kill people because in fact you are the murderer. He killed THREE people and was put on probation. Called monster. He decided to leave them behind and move on to the next round. To roll. And then kill both Manabu and the game management. Friends think he can't be the murderer. But Manabu confirmed what he said was true. Everyone turned to argue about Yuri. Make you now. I don't understand what my mother used to teach me about friends. More important than money. For you now friends are just a burden. And he decided to go to the third game himself. To protect them but when he was about to jump down Tenji. Stan Ra went to go Theo Yuji to make amends. He said he lied to. About having feelings for Siho. He joined just to fight Yuri alone. And took Ra's first kiss to prove it. The organizers accepted and sent both of them to the next round. Organizers said Tenji. Doing this must have a purpose because this is the second time. Tenji joined this game. Old years. Yuri was taught by his mother that the most important thing in the world. Friends, not just money. He also nodded, ignoring his mother's advice. Because when leaving the hospital, Yuri met his teacher again, and Mr. Cho told him something important. More than in this world is money. Yuchi is then suddenly awakened and meets Tenji again. Down here. Yuchi wondered where this place was, but Tenji didn't know either. Manabu's voice surprise rang, and it said both needed to. In this cave. 3 days to wait for the organizers. Prepare for the third game. Both of them only have water to live for 3 days, and Tenji had to explain. My last action was to go theo Yuchi. Because only when going with Yuchi then Tenji just had a chance to explain everything to you. About why he betrayed and all that. Tenji confessed that this was the second time he joined the friendship game. But before he could tell more, Tenji signaled Yuri to continue. Cover the nameplate. To avoid having a wiretapping device inside. Tenji shared that everything happened because of Saiho. She took away the most precious thing Tenji have in this world. Specifically in grade 2. Kenji has 2 very close friends. The BA had planned to listen together. Tenji, let your 2 friends know that I have saved a large amount of money myself and want to start a business with 2 friends to make a living. Before age 18. The 2 friends did not expect Tenji to want to share this money with them. Then Tenji, at that time, I kept the belief that as long as both BA together they can't be stopped. Until a year later. Saiho also went to the same grade and school as Tenji. However, Tenji's business with 2 friends still have not had many problems. Until one day, 2 friends questioned about Tenji. Are you dating Saiho? He confessed that me and Saiho are just parents of 2 families pieced together, but both still see each other as friends. After that incident, BA started to manage money tightly and keep the capital the same when entering BA level. When entering high school, all THREE people of Tenji Group decided to divide the money into 3 and invest them. AI makes the most money before age 20. Will be the chairman of the company. Everything will be fine if the 2 friends do not put another condition. Furthermore, the chairman will have the right to confess. CEO. Tenji had a feeling about this at that time. Will cause a rift in friendship. But he still went along with it to avoid it cracking sooner. But not long after that, Tenji with 2 friends were put into the friendship game. Because there was a person who owed 10 million yen. All BA soon lost the game, and then Kenji pushed for 20 million debt and sent home. Kenji is not allowed to say anything about the game. He went to find one of his 2 friends to question him. Then this person let me know. Use money to give gifts to Saiho. But he could say nothing more. For fear of being played. Eliminate 2 friends not long ago, then moved to live elsewhere. While Saiho gradually makes Tenji more pressure in life. He doesn't know how to share and confide. Tell everything to AI. So had to tell everyone. The most important thing to him is his father. Tenji's father heard the story and understood his son. He decided to take care of Cho Tenji from now on. But on that day. But Kenji heard that his father had just passed away. Police investigation then concluded that this was a suicide. But Kenji, knowing full well that his father would never do this. Because before leaving home, Tenji's father talked about going to ask Saiho's family. So he doubts. Everything he encounters is related to Saiho. From there he began to investigate further into the matter. But then it didn't work out. Already, he also received an anonymous letter asking. He stopped digging into the matter of Saiho. Otherwise he will disappear too. Therefore Tenji dragged everyone into this friendship game to expose the true nature of Saiho. Although Yuji messed up. But at least Tenji. There was some doubt about Saiho's ability. Is the traitor. Kenji knows that Siho is hiding something big. Because the debt of both now is 10.8 million. Well, if according to the information, the Yukai is obtained from everyone, then their debt should be 18.8 million. That means someone has misrepresented the amount. Yuchi doesn't know Sao Tenji. Tenji asked Manabu to get information about the debt. He asked Manabu again. Then it also replied to confirm for Tenji. Both later recalculated the debt, according to information got before. And then Tenji let Yoichi know about his real debt. Both of them then recalculated everyone's money. After the second game and still at 4 million. V's game Manabu information. Amount of debt. Cough is unusually loud, so she must have lied about her debt. Yukaicho said that if Siho really lied, then she must be a professional scammer. However, Yuchi still don't believe it because maybe Tenji is lying. Because after the last game, Yuchi recognized their whole group. In the end, still just like strangers. Even Tenji didn't expect that he would. Yuchi has killed someone. But why is Tenji following you? Tenji mentioned himself. Want to avenge Dad and destroy this game. For Yuri, is the only person he believes can do it. Tenji wants to regain Yuri's trust. So he proactively gave his name and debt. Show Yuri. Kenji immediately doubled his debt due to breaking the law. Kenji really wants to go Theo Yuchi. He bowed his head and begged and accepted to let Yuchi see him as a tool. Yachi wants to take the next 3 days to think. 2.5 days later, Yachi asked Tenji, what is the relationship between Shibe and Yutori? Or not, then he just sees both of them as outsiders. But Yuri thinks both of them. After all, you are my friend. Tank. So you want Tenji? After this, come apologize to Shibe and Yutori for dragging them into this. Even if they don't forgive, Tenji still has to apologize. If he still feels guilty and remorseful, then just come to sorry. And since Tenji promised to apologize, Yuri also promised to get Tenji through the third game. Half a day later, both were released from the cave and step into a forest. Here the two meet Manabu again. It says the next game for the two is hide and seek. Both will have to fight this 5-man team. Kenji doesn't understand why they have to play against another team. Manabu assuming that friendship will just appear when there is an opponent. For example, if Tenji have a friend who is an asshole, ready to betray him. The opposing team is a team of 5 that always gets along well, then what? Tenji work will be jealous of the opponent will appear. And then trust in friends will disappear. And both will have to fight with the last thought in this game. So the secret to passing the screen, this is to trust your friends. Under any circumstances. Manabu then explained the rules of the game. Basically will still be a fugitive. And the rest of the two teams will go find. So in this game, the side with fewer people will be at a disadvantage. For Yuri's team, had a quarrel from the previous game, so now must be at a disadvantage. And the opponents are on good terms, so it is more advantageous. Manabu then give them more rules in the game. But the most important thing is the law of switching sides. This side change rule is allowed. Switch sides to the opposing team and dump the remaining debt on them. The loser and the change of side can go home and not bear any debt at all. In the case of Yuri's team, if you change sides, you will lose immediately. Manabu then gives Yuri a choice. There was a lone person from another team and Yuri. Are you willing to accept this person into your team? You ask if it's a girl, then Manabu confirmed it was true, so accepted it. Tenji is worried about letting strangers into the team, but Yuchi, they think they can't win this game. Only 2 people so had to accept. And the girl who was accepted into Yuchi's team was Maria. And she is an employee of the game supervisor. They want to put Maria in to follow Yuchi because of him. Has affirmed that I will destroy this whole system. So the supervisor wants to see what your plans are. Meanwhile, Kenji decided to be the one who ran away. Because he wants to. Yuri, stay outside to monitor the game situation and stop Maria. Have a chance to change sides. Manabu then gave the two teams 2 hours to arrange a position for the fugitive. On the way to find a place to hide, then Tenji has mentioned the laws. First is to ban violence, to force the opponent to reveal the location of the fugitive. Second, the fugitive must stay in one place and cannot move until the game is over. If violating the prohibition, will be immediately disqualified and the debt will be doubled. What about what is allowed? Then they will be given a phone to communicate with each other. Simultaneously, they also have a food supply camp in the middle of the forest. And because the fugitive cannot go get it himself, so people will have to bring food to the fugitive regularly. However, in the next rule, the escapee has the right to give up. Because being a fugitive means that person accept that you will be alone and will not be able to go anywhere until the team found an opponent. If the fugitive cannot stand the loneliness for too long, then the escapee will be given a button. If you click on it, it means that the person is hiding, has given up, and the whole team will be disqualified. Just in case, he left Maria far away from Tenji's hiding place. Tank, still worried about how hard it is for them to win this game. Yuri thinks that if both sides play fair, they will definitely lose. But if he plays dirty, Yuri is confident he will win. What he cares about is Tenji's endurance. Because if Tenji can endure longer than Yuri, will be easier to win. Tenji is confident in his own endurance. So Yuri promised not to let Tenji 7 down. Yuri then ran out of time, so he had to leave first. And then 2 days later, Yuri never came to find Kenji. He did not eat anything since entering the game of friendship. And now dying of thirst, so Tenji's mind start to panic. He suspects Yuji may have abandoned him. But if he changed sides, he would have been found long ago. He suspects Yuji is torturing himself. He to revenge for game 2. Kenji used the phone to call Choyuchi. Then suddenly, someone from the opposing team picked up the phone and told Kenji Yuji is planning to abandon him in retaliation. Just as Kenji had thought before. Yachi the past 2 days just at the supply point and partying, but had no intention of finding the fugitive. Tenji still has faith in Yachi and hangs up. But Tenji's will was somewhat shaken. And Tenji started going crazy and just waiting for Yuji too. Coming soon. To know what happened, we go back 2 days ago. At the beginning of the game, we got the movie Cho to meet all the members of the opponent. First is the fugitive, and also the captain of the opposing team. Next is a young man, whom I will call by the nickname of Bully. Next is a young man, considered the master of this team's flirting. I will call this guy a womanizer. Next is the youngest of the team. Lastly, this young man wearing glasses. I would call this a serious young man. All for have planned. Because as described, then this game, no matter how many people, then never find the person hiding in this vast forest. So the key will be placed on the seeker, must deliver food to the fugitive. So they decided to split up and keep watch. At the aid station, the captain delivered the bear's head and body. Girl to the supply station to keep watch. The youngest and the serious young man will go find a hiding place for him. The whole team then performed a ritual to increase solidarity. To supervisors, also bet with each other about which team will win. And then 3 days later, nothing remarkable happened. But the supervisor of the other team is confident that Tenji is about to press the button. Because of the nature of this game, just like the 5-man team that Kier found raw, that finding the fugitive is just a side job. Is to keep watch at the supply station, to wait until the disadvantageous team gives food to the escapee, then follow. Kier team has 5 people and they used to be on the same football team, so physical fitness is very good and can follow Yuchi and Maria all the time. They can also rotate CA to keep an eye on Yuri. and deliver food to the captain. So they just need to watch Yuri long enough and wait for Tenji. Press the button and the game will end. That night, two supervisors discovered Tenji started to get so hungry that he started hallucinating about Yuri. Bring food to him. And Yuri, for the past 3 days, I have been sitting at the aid station eating and drinking and have fun like nothing happened. But they still know that Yuchi is plotting. For Mary had reported to them that Yuchi is crazier and scarier. What they think. Yuchi then suddenly spoke up. Want to change to the other group. The supervisor knows Yuchi is a genderqueer. That male or female he is ready. See them as tools. Everyone thought that if Yuri changed sides, he would definitely will plot some kind of sabotage. However, once he changed sides, Tenji will also lose and take all the debt. But even though victory was in sight, the other team still want to ask Captain to ask for opinions on letting Yuchi join the team. Yuchi then burst out laughing. Because this bunch can't even make decisions for themselves easily. Ask the captain for everything. So you see, this team is full of guys only know to be controlled. The gangster was angry and wanted to punch Yuri. But the whole gang stopped it because if there was violence then it would definitely be their whole team will lose because of the foul. The bully calmed down and let the youngest go call the captain. Blonde supervisor here, supposedly they just need to. Yuri on the team wins. But the youngest came back and refused to let Yuri go. Join because they wanted to play it slow and steady. If Yuchi really wants to change sides then Maria must also change according to, because they don't want Yuchi to change sides. Then know the position of their captain. And report back to Maria. Gangster, then provoke and want Yuchi and Maria to change teams. But 2 days ago, Yuchi told Maria about his plans for the next 2 days. And you will change teams on Tuesday. If successful, you will get the information to the enemy team's hiding place to show Maria. But if 7 fails then he will find another way. But he wanted to make sure of one thing. Mary is ready. Put your faith in his plan or not. He then asked Maria one thing and it really got her excited. Because now she knows. He is a crazier bastard than she thought. Yuri then decided to change his mind and not want to change teams anymore. Not because his plan was seen through, but because you found a way to win. Before, you mentioned yourself in 2 days of waiting. At the aid station, I will pretend to do nothing. But actually you wanted to be here to talk. And provoke the enemy team to find some information. The next morning, while the youngest and the young seriously deliver food then gangster and corpse, the girl stayed behind to keep watch. The girl's body confided in the gangster for a while, and decided to go find Maria to supervise. Yuchi sat up and talked to the gangster, and started praising the team. How does he get along? But the bully always consider himself a burden to the captain, and several times injured the captain. So he always tries to practice to improve one's level. Yuchi was rambling and asked who was in debt. And get everyone hooked on this game. The beautiful girl had time to turn back and change places with the bully to avoid disclosure. The gangster then came to watch over Maria. Then found she was gone. The gangster was startled and thought it was Maria. I delivered food so I ran to find Theo. But he found Maria was taking a bath nearby so he blushed and ran away. Go. Just as he returned to Yuchi's place. And not calmed down yet. Then Yuchi shouted to signal to Maria. Move. The two then separated to run away. Split the bear's head and the girl's body into directions. But in the end all four gathered on one road. And chase each other. Was running near a cliff when Yuchi deliberately pushed Maria off the cliff. Surprised everyone watching. Because even Maria did not foresee this. Kenji was now exhausted mentally and physically. He intended to press the button but then gave up. For Tenji, know that I no longer want to betray AI. So he will spend his last bit of strength to believe in love. And indeed Yuchi arrived in time and helped Tenji. Like rising from the dead. After eating well, then Yuchi told Tenji the reason. Now you can deliver food. However, he did not tell Tenji from the beginning. Know about the nature of this game. Partly to test Tenji. See how far his will and faith go. And now he completely trusts Tenji. And happy for Tenji. Did not press the mountain and risk believing in you. But will Tenji? Now he finds things more difficult than he thought. But will Yuchi? Is it certain to win or not? Yuchi thought that he could deliver food to Tenji. Then the plan is half successful. And Maria. At this time he was rescued by two people from the opposing team. She knew about Yuri. Will use her as bait to lure the opponent. But she could not have expected that. Yuri will put her in danger. Just to be sure, the other two will focus completely on her. At that time, if the bully did not take her away, then she really fell down the mountain. Girl killer wants to chase after Yuchi. But the bully thinks he cannot pull Maria up alone. So he chose to stay and help the gangster. Although the plan is not perfect. But at least, Yuri held the opposing team back. To think of more ways to deal with it. Tank, I think Yuri's recent actions were quite reckless. But Yuchi knows very well that one person stays behind. Then the other person will also stay according to. Because you haven't spent the last 3 days, just to drain the strength of each Tenji. He carefully observed personality and relationships between members of opposing teams. And Lover Kai found the kindest person in the group is the bully. Although he is stubborn and hot-tempered. But he is a compassionate person. Most hidden and has a pretty big guilt complex in the past. At the same time he also cares a lot about girls. So he will definitely stop to save Maria. What makes you sure is the womanizer will stay with the gangster. Because you notice, a womanizer is someone who is always with a gangster. He reacted to every move of the bully. Is good at many things, but not outstanding at anything. Is a person with a rather fake lifestyle. Should be immediately listen to someone more straightforward. Yuchi, I think you're done with the food delivery part. So now there will be more time to act. And he decided to destroy friendship of the opposing team. Because the seed of breaking the bond was planted by Yuri. Sao into the opposing team. And that is Maria. When returning to camp, the gangster kept making trouble and yelling at the womanizer. He then decided to transfer to Yuri's team. To protect Maria. Before saving Maria from the abyss. Then she thanked the young man. Girl because she was still angry with the bully for the previous peeping incident. He was scared and bowed his head sorry. But she smiled and forgave. At the same time, he thought he owed the gangster for saving his life. Both Kier and Kai did not know what they think. When acting like just now, Maria still tries to speak up to protect Yuchi. Makes the bully start to feel abnormal. He then saw Maria hurt his leg, so he bent down to carry her. On the way back to the supply camp, Maria praised the gangster as a kind person. And blamed Fate Sao for putting her on Yuchi's team. Two people delivering food from the opposing team at this time also came back and heard the story, so don't blame the gangster. But decided to play long-term with Yuri. He now returned to the supply camp and bluntly said. Near the voice called Maria to sit next to him. Yuri stated if they like to play long-term, then you will play with them. Gangster wants Yuchi. Leave Maria raw because of what you just did. But Yuchi shows himself to be a dictator. And do whatever you want with your team members. The gangster was furious and wanted to beat Yuri. One match Maria stopped. Because this is what Yuri wants. He stood up and grabbed his hair. Maria to violence, then the opposing team argued back with Manabu. But it argues that the law only prohibits violence against opponents. Teammates do not count. So the gangster thought of a way. Is he going to switch to Yuchi's team? To protect Maria. But the killer smelled something was wrong. And suppose this could be. It is Yuchi's trick raw. Yuchi also recognized the young man, This girl killer has quite a bit of experience with girls. But the gangster still doesn't believe Maria. Being abused is fake. The girl killer and the gangster started fighting. When killing girls, think of as a gangster. Just a virgin and know nothing about women. The youngest brother had to stand up and stop the two from fighting. The youngest wants to call the captain to see the decision Rosao. Then, Yuri again teases about how being a gangster is a test of will. To protect daughter. But also wait for the captain to decide to change. Gangster then decided to go and arrange with the captain himself. So the youngest brother and the gangster went to see the captain to discuss. Yuri had a specific plan for this situation. Because the captain is the key for every member of the team. Without that, not the girl's body. And the bullies will easily have conflicts. He calculated that the bully would lure Maria to change sides. But she will lie that she is being threatened by Yuchi. If it is easy, then the gangster will lose control and punched him and broke the law. Otherwise, you will gradually attract bullies. About your team. A few hours later, the boss and the little brother are back. And the gangster now decided to switch sides to Team Yuchi. Of course, Yuchi agreed immediately. Because the captain did not allow Maria switch sides to their team. He is willing to take on more debt, but will not intend to cooperate with Yuchi. Bully thinks he now has the right to punch Yuchi without having to hold back anymore. But Yuchi, not the type to be bullied by a bully. He quickly controlled and tied the gangster in one place. So he can't be violent. That night, Yuchi informed Tenji. You just lured someone from the other side to change. Come here. Now you just need force the gangster to reveal the location of the team leader. The gangster now felt ashamed for wanting to help Maria. But it turned out like this. Maria is worried for the bully because Yuri will definitely torture him. Bear to get information. But the bully thinks he can handle it. Even with torture, he will be of no use. Because he didn't know where the captain was hiding. Yuri was so shocked that she went out afterwards to ask the gangster about it. Him clearly went with the youngest brother to meet the captain before. But on the way then, the youngest brother just said that he realized Yukai had some kind of plot. So I just called the captain and fought the bear back. Yuchi just realized and called out to his youngest brother. He recognized the youngest brother is the captain and brains of this team. Yuchi is glad he realized this sooner. But the youngest brother thought he was too late. Because the moment you accept the bully into your team, that's when you brought a bomb to yourself. The youngest will end this battle soon and hopefully Yuri will soon find out the reason. Why is the bully a bomb? The youngest then said goodbye to the captain to start looking for Tenji. To supervisors. Now know the youngest is a genius. Since childhood and has a weakness of being bored very quickly. That's why they participate. Join this game for more fun. And the reason the youngest can manipulate the captain must have been discovered by the captain. Have some secret. Yuri now realized the reason the gangster is a bomb. That's because if the bully fights back against his former teammate, then Yuri's team will be fouled and lose. And you tied up the bully. Being here means you have to be here. Monitor the bully all the time. And can no longer grasp the opponent's direction of movement. But the young man is serious and a womanizer. Actively came here to monitor maintenance. They all waited until morning and Maria left for a while. Maria met her youngest brother and he recognized her. Maria is a member of the management team. So he wants Maria to betray Yuri. The reason he recognized Maria as someone from the management. Because of 3 days in prison. Yuchi and Tenji looked so miserable. But Maria did not have a single blemish on her body. So very suspicious. But Maria did not want to betray. Because she has to maintain the image of a lovely girl. So the youngest asked her if she wanted to see a demon. Is Kai Cowan go helpless to the end? She really wanted to see that picture. So decided to call Choyuchi to ask about Tenji's location. Because she was alone and unsupervised at the time. Yuchi said Ra and Maria then immediately returned to report to youngest brother, made him very resentful of being betrayed. The entire group of opponents then set out to find Tenji. The youngest called Cho Tenji to and told him to cut ties with Yuchi as soon as possible. But Tenji still believes in Yuchi. But soon after, the youngest brother discovered Raw Tenji. Manabu then announced the game was over and everyone in the forest must gather at the supply station. Manabu then officially declared the winner in hide and seek. This time is it. Love team. The youngest was shocked to hear that but didn't understand why. It's true that the youngest found Tenji first. But that is not the only way to win. Because the captain pressed the give up button before the game of hide and seek ends. Yuri was really pretending. Must be indignant to lure the whole opposing team away. Leave him alone with the bully. He confessed himself. Don't want to win this way. Yuri then did. Call the captain and ask for. He pressed the give up button. Otherwise you will punch the bully until he presses the button. He kept punching. But the captain wondered why the gangster didn't say anything. Yuri gave the gangster the phone. Then he wanted the captain not to give up. Very brave bully. So no matter how many punches Yuri can endure. Decided to do bigger. He heard about them being on the same basketball team. And the bully who threw the ball wrong and injured the captain. So you will break each of the gangster's fingers until the captain presses the button. Yuchi counted down from 10. And then a crack was heard. A person who was injured as a captain surely will not mishear that sound. He started crying and wanted Yuchi to stop. But you will keep breaking until he presses the give up button. Yuri also caught on to the captain himself is the one who caused the debt for the whole group and get the whole group involved in this game. The captain apologized to the group because his family business is in debt. So he had to drop out of school. Still want to participate in the final tournament with the whole team, so the youngest brother showed him, we join this game. And let him run things. Even though we lost, at least the captain wanted to beat us. Yuchi won fight to avenge the gangster. But the bully stopped. He came back because he didn't break any fingers. Yuri himself broke his own arm to scare him. The youngest brother was not willing to accept that he had lost and started blaming the captain and the bully. But serious young man grabbed the youngest and spanked his butt as punishment. He is everyone's type of brother and is the only one. Control the youngest. Serious young man thinks, if the captain puts the bully in danger just to win, then they will not respect him anymore. The whole team then go ahead and the captain promises to take care of all the debt. If they lose, even though he can't play football with them anymore, he's still also satisfied with this game. Changed the game that he wanted. Yuchi then also know Maria is the person of management from the beginning. So comfortably push her down the cliff without any worries. And is acting after Maria betrayed him. Also to let the opponent leave with satisfaction. Yuchi was then helped up by Tenji. Tenji admits that even though Yuchi used a despicable trick, but he still didn't destroy his opponent's friendship. But if the captain presses the button slower, then you probably broke the bully's arm. Both of them were then Manabu. Let Ra go home so the organizer can prepare for the fourth game. And both are not allowed to reveal any information about the game, otherwise they will have to face the consequences. Both of them then went home and decided to go find the CEO. But when they got to school, they found Yutori there. She was glad that both of them could return. But she also let both of them know that Siho had run away. Yukai thought Siho ran away because he knew both of them. Discovered Ra Siho lied about the debt. But Yutori. It is further stated that the next day when the group back from game 2, Siho, her and Shibe still go to school as usual. But the whole class was questioning now. Cough because of doubt. She was the one who stole the picnic money. Because the whole other class keeps money in the account. But Siho still wants to keep cash. Shibe wants to say that Tenji is the one who took it. But that would be. It is a violation of the law to disclose information about the game, so Shaib had to keep quiet. Everyone thinks Shaib is an accomplice. Then he thinks, I will pay back the money to the whole class. But 2 days later, Shaib's father was arrested because someone had leaked information about him. After being exposed in Game 2, Yuji, I think it must be Shaib, told Dad about the game to ask 2 million from him, so he was arrested. Shaib the next day apologized to everyone. Because he couldn't bring money, he was bullied. So Saiho also protects Shaib. Both had to drop out of school. Suddenly a classmate came to tell both of them that it was Shaib. Had an accident at Shaib house right now. His father was murdered. Shaib was taken away by the police with his body covered in blood. Shaib meets Yuri and Tenji again. Then he tried to explain to his 2 friends that he did nothing. Tenji wants to help Shaib. Then Yuri stopped him because he would reveal information about the game. Kenji then caught Saiho's father escorting Shaibi. Then for sure that he is involved in the game. But Yuji stopped him from saying raw, and Saiho's father also advised both of you not to worry about other people's business. Yuri doesn't have anyone important. So if you want to threaten me, just aim it at me. Yuri then came to talk to both of them. But Yuri said harshly that Yutori saw you as a monster after knowing the truth about him. But now pretend to care. He said straight, she is a person who cannot decide anything for herself and is a burden to the whole group. Right from the start of the game. That night when I got home, Yuri thinks she did it to push Yuri away. Stay away from everything as much as possible. Because he doesn't want Yutori to be in danger. But suddenly a strange number called and this person said they caught Yutori and asked Yutori to come here to join the game. If you come, you will be tortured badly. But if not, Yuri will also be tortured, but less than what you have to suffer. But Yuri can't bring AI with him. Otherwise Yuri will get it. Yuri declares that they are not to lay a hand on Yuri. Otherwise you will kill them all. Yuri then went to the meeting place alone. He came across a gang of thugs holding Yuri captive. And a masked Manabu calling himself Kuroki. Yuji wants him to release Yutori first. But he showed him. He is the one in power here. He threatened to tell Yuji's secret. And if he says raw, then you are sure we'll rethink saving Yutori. Yuri had to compromise and listen to the rules he gave. Yuri will now have to go through THREE rounds of torture. But there is a way to save Yuri. That is, she will have to suffer instead. If Yuri accepts the punishment, then she will have to suffer a lighter punishment than Yuri. However, if Yuri speaks up, both of them will be punished. In other words, Yuri was the first round pick. Both will have to take punches from this big guy. If Yutori admits she will only take 1 punch. And with Yutori it is BA. Yutori without giving a choice. Then default will be Yutori. She was hesitating when Yuji signaled to her that will suffer. Kuroki doesn't want Yuji to move. But Kuroki will slow down first and let Yuji take the punch alone. He took THRE hits in a row, but you see, it's still light compared to the punches of the captain brother last time. Yutori promised that the second time she would take Yutori's place. So Kuroki immediately pulled Yutori on the table and wanted her to accept having one of her fingernails pulled out. She was immediately dragged to bleeding. Then started to feel pain, so Yuji had to raise his hand to take his place. But you will get 3 fingernails pulled. Yuji wanted him to hurry up. So he didn't hesitate to pull out Yuji's 3 claws. Yuri now wonders. Why all of them? Let this sick pervert be the leader. Then he thinks he is the smartest one. Should be the leader. He is also a brave man, the most loyal and the one who never betrays his friends. He then wanted to play the last game. One is that Yuri will have to dance naked. Or Yuri will be stabbed in the BA arm by him. Both have a minute to discuss. Yuri is still very scared. But she was willing to listen to Yuri's choice. So Yuri decided to take the punishment, making Yuri feel more guilty. Yuchi then suffered 3 stab wounds and was able to leave. But Yuchi didn't want to go home yet. He still wanted to continue playing. You want Yutori? Don't feel so guilty because you are their victim. And they were only targeting you from the beginning. So I brought her here to threaten you. Yuri is no longer afraid of Yuri. No matter what your past is like. Yutori. Then bandaged Shoyuchi's hand and Cho said. If she doesn't come back, then she will witness something very scary. But she still chose to stay with Yuchi. He declared that he wanted to play a game with Kuroki. If he is willing to play, you will pay him 10 million. And if he knew about your past, then he must know. You have more than 10 million in hand. So he accepted the bet. And the game will simply be rock, paper, scissors. If he wins, you will pay him 10 million. If you lose, you will cut. The delicious number of hands corresponds to what he gives out. Drag with 2 fingers. The whole hand. If he gives up, he loses nothing. And with a hand like this, you will point out rock or paper. Too good for him. If he accepts, you will give it to his juniors. Extra money as a bonus. The juniors shouted for Kuroki to join. He could not cowardly retreat. So he thought he just needed Rabao. Then win or fire. So he asked Yuri what if it was a draw. Then he said nothing would happen. But if he pulls, the ratio will be 5510. And he didn't want to risk losing 2 fingers. Yuri read that he was going to Rabao. Should remind him that you will not be out either. And then urged him to start. Both of them then hammered. But the second time Yuchi pulled raw. Because you give the result with your other hand. He lost and started arguing with Yuri. But like you said, you won't be out. But you never said you would play with only one hand. He wanted to cancel the deal and let his men rush up and grab Yuri. But at this moment Tenji brought the real game organizers too. They quickly arrested the counterfeiters. And the team supervisor. Yuri wants to take Kuroki back to punish him for impersonating them. But Yuri want to keep him to ask for 5 fingers. Before he was taken away. He refused. Then the supervisor held his hand back for Yuri. Make quick. He started screaming, so Yuchi stopped and let him choose a junior Ra to replace him. But the junior will only lose 1 finger. He cried out and told his men to take his place. But obviously no one dared. Yuri then passed out from blood loss. So the supervisor took Kuroki away. She thinks Yuri from the beginning intentionally Ra pulled by using the injured hand to trick him. And then lure him. So he wouldn't think about lighting a fire. Already after just 1 game. Yuri also destroyed the bond between him and his comrades. Yuri was then taken for treatment. Maria told Tenji in the next game. They will be chosen to save Shibe. Or get another 500 million debt. Because Shibe owed another 500 million after his father died. Yuchi woke up and wanted to save Shibe. And flip this game. Because money is not important to you. Yachi was then taken to the emergency room while Tenji and Yutori then decided to do my best to save Shibe back. And part 1 of the movie ends here.